Welcome back to the Fallout universe. Many of you are joining us for the first time, having watched the TV show, and yeah, I'm sure you're having a lot of fun. Now, we did put out a beginner's guide on the game, on Fallout 4 specifically, just to get you your toes in the water and get your feet wet and get you started. And I'm assuming by now a lot of you have moved beyond the beginner stage, so what I thought I would do is I'd do a follow-up video with some kind of intermediate to advanced tips for you. Hopefully it will enhance your gaming experience in Fallout 4, and you might learn some stuff that you didn't know. And even for returning players, there might be a few tips in there that might help you. And I know a lot of you, I've got a lot of comments lately that people are returning to the game and are absolutely loving it. So we're going to help you as much as we can today. Let's get into it. So let's start with a few very basic tips. Make sure that we spoke about looting before, and looting everything in Sanctuary when you first come in here. There's a few things that you should always be checking, and a few that really catch me at. The letterboxes are one. Know that your letterboxes or mailboxes will have stuff in it. That's the first thing. So likewise with the mailboxes, they will have components in them. One of the things that I didn't realise, or I always forget to check, is these little shaving mirrors or storage components in the bathroom. In every building, go in, walk up to them, and you'll be surprised what you find in these containers. It's one that I used to just overlook a lot of the time, and yeah, that was my mistake. Now, one thing I will say about some of these containers, we're going to talk about them a little bit more in detail in a minute, but when you're coming back into Sanctuary, every so often, check these, because they will regenerate items every so often. So just because you've taken them out at once, it doesn't mean that they're a done deal. Okay, so I want to show you a little secret that a lot of people are not aware of in Sanctuary. So there is the workbench there. This is the house with all the Halloween stuff on it. Right, that's where we are. We're going to head round the back here. Okay, so there's the yellow house. I'm going to walk through here and behind. Okay, so coming out of this door here, there's a hedge on the right. Just keep going forward. There's a little secret bunker right at the back of this blue house. That's the Halloween house. It's the next house down. And you can actually go in there. And there's a whole lot of secret stuff in there. Ladies and gentlefolk, look at all this stuff. We're going to talk about why those are glowing green in a minute, but there we go. Got all this. Some extra resources that a lot of people miss when they first come to Sanctuary. Okay, cool. A lot of good stuff in here. But did you know, now that you've looted the mailboxes, you can actually transfer stuff back into them if you wanted. So if you didn't want those 38 rounds, you can just put it back. Look at that. So a lot of those containers, if they have that transfer button there, you can transfer things into them. And I think we talked a little bit about player homes the last time we were here. And yeah, if you want to store things in there like we did last time, you can do that. As long as they have that box there. Now, one important thing that you must know is if you do store things in those individual containers that we just showed you, they are not linked to the workbench. Not linked to the workbench, they're independent of the workbench. So if you're looking to craft and the resources, those items that are in these containers right here will not be counted as resources. So be aware, if you're going to store stuff, then and you need it for crafting, always put it in the workbench. Now, one thing I did want to show you, a lot of you may not be aware of this. So, with most settlements, there will be a workshop right there where you store everything. However, if you're in somewhere like Spectacle Island or something, the workshop is miles and miles and miles away from all the main buildings. So did you know that a lot of the crafting benches are also act as a transfer point? So you can actually click it and you can see down there store all junk, and I can store all my junk from here, and it'll then be stored in the workshop. Likewise, if you needed to take things out, you can do that from here. So you don't necessarily need to be using the workshop every time. You can use the crafting benches, and they will do the same thing. So I'm taking a whole heap of junk here because I want to show you the next tip. Okay, right. So with your junk, there's a couple of components that you're going to need pretty much the whole time that you are crafting, upgrading weapons, upgrading armor, all that good stuff. There's going to be a couple components that are key to doing a whole number of things. Now, those components generally are aluminium or aluminum for my American friends, adhesive, and ceramics. So here is a tip for you. If you want to make it easier to find those components in the world, here's what you do. Go into your Pip-Boy like this, scroll across the junk, so you're generally going to be at weapons, scroll across the junk like this, and you're going to see bandage scissors and beer bottles and cigarette boxes. If you have a look down the bottom in the center there, it says component view, LB. It'll be different on every system what button you press, but if I press LB, look at this. It changes it to components. Adhesive, there you go, aluminium or aluminum is there, ceramics is there, and it will tell you which actual junk items that you're going to need if you need those components. Now, I can never remember that, G4. How the heck am I going to remember that? Okay, so here is the easy way of doing it. Now that we're in the component view, look down the bottom, it says down in the middle there, RB, tag for search. So if I tag this thing, this here, and I tag aluminum and I tag ceramics, all those items, for instance, for ceramics, ashtrays, coffee cups, and cracked bowls, when you're searching in the on the map, they're going to glow. They're going to have that little icon, that little magnifying glass icon next to them, and you'll be able to know whether that what you're picking up is useful and you need it, or it's just useless. So I'll show you that in real time. So have a look at this. There's a little toolbox there, and you can see I'm walking up to the toolbox, but I don't even have to. As soon as I get close to it, look, it turns green, and what it's telling you is that there is something in there that you've tagged in your search list that you need. So if I walk up to it, you can see it very clearly, it's duct tape, but it gives you a quick of all, it gives you a visual reference, and you can see as soon as I take that component, it no longer turns green. So very useful to tag things like that, because it's going to make searching for the components you actually need a heck of a lot easier. So you may be wondering, okay, well, that's all well and good, but how do I figure out what I actually need G4? Now, it very much depends what you're doing, but I'll give you an example of how you can try and figure out what components you need, and then you can start marking the right things that will get you ahead. So, for instance, we have the armor workbench here. See there, workbench. Okay, so we're going to walk up there and we're going to hit the craft button. And you can see the leather chest piece, I've got raider left, right legs, whatever. And so if I click modify and I go, okay, modify again, it gives me a whole lot of options of how I can modify things. Okay, and you'll see up the top there, improves damage and energy resistance, boiled leather, girded leather, improves damage and energy resistance, etc. But the important thing here is it will show you the components that you require to make that upgrade. So if you're focused on upgrading your armor, for instance, you can see for this one I need cloth and leather. Pretty much every one I need cloth and leather. That one I need oil for. Ignore the fact that I need armor 1, but straight away you can start to make a note of those and then go back into your Pip-Boy, mark cloth and leather for searching, and then you're picking up all the right components that you need for what you want to do. And likewise, if you're upgrading weapons, then weapons work in exactly same way. And you can see there with the light framed receiver, I've already marked adhesives and aluminium. So that's a way of really optimizing the components that you're actually searching for, but very much depending on what you're actually doing, what you're trying to achieve in the game. And I said that in the beginner's guide, pick up everything. This is much more refined, and it's much more, means that you're not becoming over encumbered with all this junk that is useless to you. Okay, so the next one around the Pip-Boy, and this is really just a life tip. If you want to change the color of your Pip-Boy, you can. So if you don't like the green, you can go into your settings, into display, and there, look at this Pip-Boy color. Look at this. And you can actually start to play around with these until you get the color you like, and it will show you in real time. Look at this, and you can change the color of your Pip-Boy, and you can also change the HUD color as well. So we'll try and match that up as close as possible. There we go. And you can see it starts to change your HUD color. So play around with those until you get the color you like. And yeah, you can have a pink HUD if you like. And there you go. Even the bottom of the HUD is all, look at that, it's all pink. Oh wow, look at that, that's all pink. And if you don't like it, you just play around with it and play around with it in displays until you get that right for you. And if you make a mistake, just hit the default. You can see down there, defaults, confirm, and it'll put it back to where it is, and it gives you back to that starting point. Okay, so during your adventures in the Commonwealth, you're going to pick up some companions along the way. I've got a ton of them here on Spectacle Island. We're going to use Hancock as an example. If you hit the command button, whatever is on your system,
look alive,
and you move towards them, it's going to bring up this little sub menu. Now, be aware that what you can do, I hit the trade menu, I can store all kinds of gear on Hancock if I'm getting over encumbered, or I want to reduce my weight down a little bit. I can just give them to my companion. So that's the first thing. The second thing that you can do with your companions is that you can give them things to wear. So I'm going to find something in my inventory. Let's see. So we're going to give him a set of road leathers, and if I now go equip, look how he changed. See that? If I want to give him cage armor, I can give him cage armor. So this also applies to weapons. If I want to give him a specific weapon, for instance a snub-nosed, I just equip, and that will be the pistol that he uses. Make sure though, if you're going to give him weapons, that you give him at least one piece of ammunition that fits that gun. So they'll always need just one, and then he'll be able to use that weapon. So you can utilize your companions in a lot of different ways. Another thing that is going to happen with certain companions is they'll be able to do extra stuff for you now. So for instance, with Kate, you can assign Kate to hack to lockpick locks, and with Nick Valentine, you can actually assign Nick Valentine to hack terminals. So those two companions have got some extra skills for you if they're traveling with you. So like your companions, any of your settlers, any of the settlers that you have in all the settlements that you're going to open up, you can actually give them special clothes to wear. Look at them. Marcy's got that.
The last time I had fingernails.
Sturgis has rocking his a special outfit. You can give them all special outfits to wear, and yeah, you can just customize how your settlers look if you need to.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, so there is one thing I do want to talk about with settlers, and that is supply lines. So we've talked a little bit about the workshop and storing a whole lot of resources in the workbench, but once you start to get into the game a little bit further, you're going to start opening up settlements. And what you can actually do with settlements, as soon as you start opening up settlement to settlement, you can actually start linking them, and I'll show you how to do that now. Okay, so to assign what they call a supply line so that you're sharing resources, get into workshop mode. So you get into this mode here, and you can see this settler here's unassigned. If you see, as soon as I highlight the settler, down at the bottom there it says supply line. It'll be different on every system, and then I can assign a supply line to any of these settlements here. Now this will assign your workshop in the settlement you're actually physically in this example Sanctuary, to any other settlement. So if you were in Coastal Cottage, for instance, it would assign that workbench to another one if you do this trick. To see what your supply lines look like, open up your Pip-Boy, and you need to go to data and go to workshops. And you'll see down the bottom there, it has show on map. So hit that show on map button, and then when you're on the map, it'll have show supply lines. And you can see I've assigned a whole lot of supply lines to different settlements. And you can see they're all linked. They all link back to Sanctuary. So they're all sharing resources for Sanctuary into all these different settlements right here. So it's very, very useful tool if you want one central place to store all your junk, and then you don't have to worry about when you rock up to a settlement whether you've got enough components to do your crafting or whatever you need to do. So one last little tip, and it is a please do not do this tip. So here is my power armor. I just got that from the last the Crucible quest I just completed, which you'll see on the channel in a few weeks. And you can see I've got my fusion core in my power armor. If I look at the transfer, you can see what's all in here. So I've got thermal legs and all kinds of stuff. Please, 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 if you are not going to be using your power armor, if you're finished with it for the day, take the fusion core out of it. Why G4? Because if you leave the fusion core in, your settlers will come up and help themselves to your power armor. And yeah, I had an incident with Trash Can Carla where she got into my power armor and I had to actually kill her to get it back. And it damaged it when I got it back because I had to shoot so many bullets into her. So please, please get into the habit, once you're finished with your power armor, at removing the fusion core. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave it there for today. A lot more intermediate stroke advanced tips for you to get your teeth around and your head around, and hopefully it'll help your playing experience with Fallout 4. If it did help you, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave some comments down below saying G4 thanks very much, it really helped. And also a like rating, it really does help the channel grow and helps it out with the old algorithms with the YouTube. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for the support as ever, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.